Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the Columbus School of Chinese. My name is Donald Newman, and this is Ask a Chinese Teacher. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about aspect particles, of which there are 3 of them in Mandarin. We pretty quickly in our studies come across 2 of them, one being le and the other one being guo. And beginners have a tendency to either interchange them or not be quite sure when to use one over the other. So we're going to take a close look at that today. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel here on YouTube, like us on Facebook, the Columbus School of Chinese, and our website is columbusschoolofchinese.com. You can check out what classes we are offering either here in person in Columbus, Ohio, or online as well. All right, so as I mentioned, both le and guo are what are called aspect particles. There's a third one, zhe, that students will eventually run into, but possibly a little bit farther along than le and guo. Usually le is the first one. Now, admittedly, le is a very complex thing, and there's many uses of le, but what we're going to talk about today is how it's used to describe that an action has been completed or that an action has already taken place in the past. So with all these aspect particles, we're talking about something that has to do with time in relation to the verb, in relation to the action of the sentence. With a le on the back of a verb, we are indicating that an action has already been completed, an action has already taken place, right? Let's take a look at what le will do to a sentence. So, like I just mentioned, there are many uses of le, and you could write multiple PhD dissertations on exactly what le can do in different situations. But this is the most basic one. This is the one you're liable to run into first as you study Chinese from a beginner level. All right, so it can take sentences like 我去中国, I go to China, and indicate that the verb, that the action has already happened in the past. This has already been completed in the past. 我去了中国, right? This gets translated to what we would call in English grammar the past tense. Although you might have heard that there's no true tenses in Mandarin like there is in English. What happens is with a le in this particular case, if I were to translate that sentence into English, I would most likely use past tense to convey that meaning in English, right? I went to China as opposed to I go to China. Example 2 here, another one with apples. 我吃苹果. I eat apples, right? Someone asks you how you keep the doctor away, you say, I eat apples, right? This is in the present tense in English. With a le added, we're indicating this has already been completed. 我吃了苹果. I ate apples. All right, so that usage of le is pretty straightforward. Now let's move on to guo. Guo is another aspect particle. It talks about a verb in relation to time. How is guo different? Guo conveys some kind of experience has been had. So if you want to relay that you have had a particular drink before, you would use guo. If you wanted to say that you have been to a particular place before, you would use guo. The key here is if in English you're hearing that past participle, that I have done something, I have eaten, I have seen. This is where a guo would come in handy if you were to convey that meaning in Chinese. Let's take a look at some examples here. So again, guo expresses that an experience has been had. Okay. 我去中国. Once again, I go to China. 我去过中国. I have been to China. I have this experience of having gone to China previously. Right? That's what a guo does. Again, 我吃苹果. I eat apples. 我吃过苹果. I have eaten apples. So again, in English, this comes out in a past participle. I have had some experience in the past. All right, excellent. So those are both pretty straightforward explanations of the main usage or the most basic usage of le and guo. Let's give your brain a little exercise. So I'm going to give you a sentence in English. You tell me if your Chinese version of that sentence would take a le or would take a guo. Which one would be a more apt word to use? Number one, I watched a movie today. Have it figured out? If you said le, you are correct, right? 我今天看了一个电影. 我今天看了一个电影. Why is it le? We're not talking about having had an experience. We're talking about a discrete, specific action has taken place, right? This is le. We're not talking about I have watched a movie today. We're talking about I watched a movie today, all right? Example number 2. I've eaten Chinese dumplings before. I hope that is a true statement for you as well because they are delicious. But if you said you would use a 过 here, you are correct. 我吃过饺子. 我吃过饺子. Why? We're talking about having had eaten them before, having eaten them before. We're not talking about a specific, discrete instance. I ate dumplings on this particular date, on this particular time. All right, so there's my brief explanation into the basic usage of le, the basic usage of guo, and how these two aspect particles are different from each other in sentences. If you like the video, make sure to share with others who would find it useful, and subscribe to the channel because I'll be posting another one of these videos next week. Thanks for watching.